I pray that this finds every single person who it's meant to find. If this video is coming up on your feed, I'm picking up on a group of people who are going through a breakthrough right now when it comes to their soul's purpose. And hi, this is my first video on YouTube. My name is Annie. I am a psychic reader and a somatic practitioner. I do lots of other things too. If you want to learn more about me, you can find my website at the link in my bio, belovedwithin.com. That is my business that I run. Whew. And I have been getting this hit to start this YouTube channel for a while. And one of the biggest reasons being is because one of my callings here on earth is to support people in breaking through all the barriers that limit them from being everything that they truly are in relationship, meaning an intimate relationship, in their personal soul work endeavors and in the world. And my psychic gifts have really come online in the last 2 years specifically. Although they were always there before that, I just didn't really know how to work with them in the most kind of direct way. But now that I'm working with them in this direct way, I get channeled messages for people. Not only, I do one-on-one readings, but I also do kind of collective channeled messages. And recently it's been so loud that I need to start offering these collective readings and these collective videos. So hi, welcome. So the word that I keep hearing is breakthrough. And it's like you are breaking through everything that has kept you in the limited experience of being in abundance. And so often that we think that being in abundance means having a lot of money, right? And being, very wealthy and financially affluent. And that is a part of abundance. However, the message that I'm receiving from Spirit is you're breaking through all the limitations and the barriers that prevent you from being in the abundance of who you truly are. And I keep receiving an image of someone breaking chains. So like breaking chains. And the image of the Devil Tarot card in astrology is represented by Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn, Sun and Venus, so I understand this very well. And the image of the devil in the tarot, it looks just like the Lovers tarot card, which represents Gemini. I'm a Gemini rising, LOL. And the image of the devil in the tarot, there's two people and they're being kind of captured by the devil, right? And the devil can represent our fears, our limitations, our conditioning that doesn't serve us, right? All the egoic illusions that kind of prevent us from expanding into everything that we're here to be in this lifetime. And it also represents attachment. I don't know if I said that. Fears, illusions, scarcity, right? The devil is kind of like this ego matrix reality of fear, right? And that's a part of this message. So we'll get a little bit more into that. But the devil, right? It's like this experience, there's two people who are kind of chained and they're trapped, right? The image of the devil, it looks like the devil has control over them, right? Like they're chained, there's no way out. And if you look closely enough though, on the image of the Devil Tarot, the chain around the two people's neck is actually extremely loose, meaning they could just slip right out of the chain. They have the power to slip right out of the chain. And so I'm getting this imagery because it's like you are slipping out of the matrix of fear that you've been stuck in. And this matrix of fear, it doesn't only show up in one area of our lives, right? We know now that what shows up in one area of our lives is also showing up in every other area of our lives. Meaning if in your relationship, you're displaying some kind of fear or anxiety, right? That limitation, that attachment, right? That unresolved trauma that can sometimes be there, the devil also represents. That experience is going to show up in every other area of your life. So if you're experiencing some kind of scarcity or fear or not enoughness in your relationships, that's also going to be showing up in your money, in your soul work in the world, in the ways that you're here to serve, right? In your career, perhaps, right? We all are on different paths, right? And I'm getting so strongly this message from Spirit that whoever's watching this video is breaking through the matrix of fear. And I just keep hearing once and for all. It's like you've been so fed up with this matrix of fear that you're breaking through once and for all, because you know that there's a reality, the true reality with a capital T, that's behind this matrix of fear. Meaning this true reality, the true self that you are, the true reality of abundance, of expansiveness, of freedom. This true reality of freedom, of limitless possibility, of limitless abundance, of there always being enough. This is the true reality, and this is the true love that you're here to experience. This is the true experience of reality, of being who you truly are in the world, of creating what you're here to create, of being in service in the ways that you're here to be of service, right? Of experiencing yourself in the ways that you're here to experience yourself, because you're here to experience yourself as the true self with a capital T. You're here to experience yourself as the unconditionally loved being that you are, as the beloved that lives within you, which is the true reality, which is who you truly are. And it's everything that makes us forget who we truly are, which is represented by the devil, that is our karmic retribution. It is our karmic retribution to overcome. It is our karmic duty to work through, right? To receive retribution in this lifetime, in this physical body. So whoever's watching this, you be breaking through, honey. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing something that is making you break through these illusions of scarcity, the illusions that you are unworthy, right? The illusions that you don't have a choice, or that you are a victim, or whatever it is, right? That you are helpless, that you'll never get better, that there's never going to be another opportunity, like there's never going to be another way of experiencing reality. Like all these fears and these traumas and these limitations that we can experience in this life, which I've also directly experienced as well. And I'm on this journey as well, right? Everything that I share is also for me too. It's not just, it's not like I'm sitting on some seat and I'm like some totally perfect being who's like, exempt from this human experience. No, I'm a part of the collective as well. And I'm just getting so strongly that we are at a place in humanity, this age of Aquarius, we are at a time in humanity where everyone is waking up to the truth of who they are, meaning they're realizing the ways that they have been traumatized, that they have been in fear, that they have been conditioned, that they have been colonized, that they have been brainwashed to be stuck in fear and scarcity and limitation, right? And fight or flight and freeze, right? And I want to touch on the fact, I'm a somatic practitioner. And so when I talk about trauma, or I speak about these states, right? Fight or flight or freeze or fear or being stuck in a reality, like these are a real reality that we can become stuck in, right? I found myself in that as well for so many years. And I'm not going to go into my story in this video today, but, it's a very physiological reaction that we have when we experience trauma that is often unconscious. I mean, usually it's always unconscious, right? Until we have some kind of spiritual awakening or some waking up experience to ourselves, where we come into direct contact with the darkness that we carry. We come into direct contact with the ways that we do feel helpless, or do feel hopeless, or do feel depressed, right? Or are stuck in hypervigilance, or are stuck in anxiety, or feel like we can't relax, or feel like we don't trust people, or feel isolated and ashamed, and like we're stuck in the same patterns of choosing the same toxic, unavailable partners who can't love us in the ways that we truly need to be loved, right? We're constantly looking for something outside of us to fill this void or make us feel better, right? Or we're addicted to something, or we can't live without a person, or like whatever it is, right? These are all physiological responses of our nervous system that is the primal intelligence of our bodies. That is the primal intelligence of our bodies. The nervous system runs as like a bunch of nerves throughout your entire body, right? Through your arms, through your legs, down to your feet, down into the earth, right? through up until like right, it's kind of ends right where your hairline meets your spine, but still all the nerve endings are running through your face, they're running through your brain. It's this entire neural network that connects your brain heart coherence, and it connects your entire body, right, to this deeper intelligence that is very primal in the human experience. And it's equally as spiritual as it is primal, right? I just want to say that too. And so when I speak about healing trauma, right, it's like this is like a whole other thing that I could get into, because I teach about this, right? I teach trauma healing, and I teach trauma-informed dance, right, where we heal trauma through dance, where we heal trauma through somatic practices that support cultivating safety and choice within our own nervous system, right? That does support us in physiologically, healing patterns of trauma that are residual, that are usually passed down through generation upon generation, right? So if you're here breaking through the matrix, you know, they talk about breaking through the matrix, it's like that's the real thing, right? You'll hear so many people speaking about this, breaking through the matrix, right? And it's like to realize, you know, the ways that you have been limiting yourself or have been stuck in patterns, right, that don't support you, right? Or you do feel just like chronically stressed or chronically depressed, right? And all of these different experiences. And I also want to say, while I'm touching on this, you know, I am a white woman living in the West with a certain amount of privilege and a certain amount of, you know, resources and access to resources and just certain privilege, right, that I want to just name that not everyone has, right? And we are also living in a bigger structure and system, a bigger matrix of colonial capitalism that is quite literally set up so that people are kind of stuck in fear and stuck in this lower brain, this reptilian brain, this trauma brain, right, that we all carry, that we all have, right? It's primal. It's our primal physiology. It's the animal body, right? It's the animal of our body. We're all animals at the end of the day. And we have this higher consciousness, right? I have Krishna here from the Bhakti yogic tradition that represents this higher consciousness, this God consciousness, this true self, this true experience of capital T truth, meaning beyond all the limitations, all the egoic perceptions of who you are, all the conditioning, you know, who you have thought yourself to be from all of your experiences, relationally, socially, systemically, internally, right? Emotion, all of these experiences, they kind of construct an identity, right? Unconsciously, that is also physiological, right? And so when we're working in healing trauma and we're working with reclaiming our true self in the world and reclaiming our power to create and reclaiming our inner divinity, we're working with relating to these primal responses, not as problems to be fixed, but actually as parts of you that are asking to experience your unconditional love, the unconditional love of your true self, of truth, of Krishna, right? Of God, of the great mother, of the goddess from the tantric yogic tradition, which I also have been, you know, studying and initiated into for so many years. And I resonate with the great mother and the experience of the divine feminine, but that's kind of for another moment, right? But like you have your own intuitive experience, right? With what I'm saying. And so, you know, this message today that I got, so I was just like, I couldn't go another day without coming on here and making my first YouTube video and speaking about it, because Spirit is like, you need to talk about the breakthrough. And I'm like, okay, I'll talk about the okay, Spirit, whatever you say. But really, it's like so many of us are waking up, right? So many of us are breaking through the limitation and the scarcity and the reality of the trauma brain and the reality of this illusion of being separate from the abundance that you want to experience and the inspiration from God that you want to experience and the enthusiasm for life, right? This experience of aliveness, right? This sacred power that you carry that we directly work with through all the work that I do, right? Whether it be giving someone a psychic reading or teaching trauma-informed dance, body temple dance, where we're directly accessing this power, this sacred power, this Kundalini Shakti, right? This energetic power of creation that we carry, that is the energy in our bodies, right? That not only supports us in healing patterns of trauma, emotional expression, but also reclaiming this expression of creation, of pleasure, of love and aliveness, of the Empress in the tarot, right? The divine feminine principles of expression, of being in a body, right? Of being a divine being in a body with the power to create, with natural gifts that come online, right? When you're working with the energy of the body, that's not just trapped and constricted and restricted all the time, although that's a part of it, right? Like when we're healing trauma, it's not about like, you got to get out of this constriction, right? Or the constriction that you're experiencing in your left shoulder is bad and wrong. And like, you got to just get over it. And here's a pill to make it feel better, right? And like, whatever the fuck. And like, that's a part of it, right? That's a part of it. But no, like it's like the constriction in your left shoulder, like that's probably some younger part of you that felt overburdened by taking care of the needs of other people, but they never had someone who was actually attuning to their needs, right? And so then they learned that they had to constrict and restrict and suppress, right? And control and contract. And that was the primal response of your body, of the energy in your body, your energetic and emotional body, to that threat, right? To that not having your needs met, to the lack of attunement that you experienced, right? At some point. And I'm speaking very generally, right? When I speak, I'm speaking in the realms of, you know, healing attachment trauma and early developmental trauma and relational trauma, and also, you know, cultural systemic trauma, right? They're all kind of interconnected. They're all interconnected, right? They're all interconnected. We can't look at your own internal experience without also looking at the internal experience of your relationships, right? Of your family dynamics, of your upbringing, of the larger cultural systemic experiences and like history, right? And really understanding. My light just went out. That's so funny. Is that a sign? It probably is a sign. Whatever, I'm just gonna leave it off. God said, yep, that's it. That's it, honey. So yeah, that just got me off track. But yeah, so, you know, like when we talk about your own inner experience, it's like we're talking about the larger also cultural, systemic, and also relational experience. We are all relational beings. We live in relationship. You don't live in isolation, right? Today's mental health kind of structure and system, very colonized, right? The Western system of just like going to talk therapy and getting a diagnosis for what's wrong with you, right? It's like, you don't exist in isolation, right? Your depression doesn't exist in isolation from your interpersonal relationships and from the education system and from your, you know, family dynamics and from the larger cultural systemic issues and structures and the way that this entire thing, colonial capitalism, is set up, you know, to kind of induce these experiences, your lifestyle, right? What you're eating, what you're ingesting, what you're watching, your hormonal cycle, right? Your sleep cycle, all these different things. It's like when we're really looking holistically at your life, you don't exist in isolation and your symptoms do not exist in isolation, right? So that's really just also important to name. Spirit really wanted me to come through. Spirit wanted me to come through. I'm gonna be coming through with these messages because I've been getting the hit to do it for a while, and it just like took me a hot minute to do it because I've just, you know, been doing a lot of other things. I teach class here in Austin, Texas. I teach virtual class every Sunday. If you're curious, it's all trauma-informed dance, somatic practice, and support for healing patterns of trauma, relationally, creatively, energetically, emotionally. We do creative writing practice, and it's always working with this energy that I'm speaking about, this Kundalini Shakti energy, this sacred power of aliveness energy that lives in your body, that does support us in healing patterns of trauma, right? And learning to relate to the parts of us that have experienced trauma, right? That have experienced not having their needs met, or like patterns of addiction, right? Or, you know, codependency and attachment wounding, right? And cultural systemic trauma, right? It's like all these different experiences on some level, these younger parts of us, they internalize that they're not enough, right? They internalize that it's not safe, right? They internalize that like no one will be there for me, right? They internalize, and I say internalize, and it's like, it's not like you're just choosing that, right? It's like that is a primal physiological response of your body that you don't really have control over. And the thing is, when you learn to master this, you learn to master working with your nervous system, then that's where the choice is reclaimed, right? And it's like, it's not until you master it that you don't have choice, right? Like, obviously you have choice right now. You can choose whether or not you want to come to my class or not. You can choose whether or not that you want to, like, you know, I don't know, go smoke weed or not. But usually it's like when we're healing trauma, it's like we realize all the unconsciousness that we have and the ways that we feel like we don't have choice. Because the reality is that trauma robs us of choice, right? Trauma on some level, physiologically, there's a lack of attunement, lack of safety, lack of resourcing in our nervous system where we feel like we have a choice, right? Like for me, it was like I was stuck in patterns of anxious attachment and codependency and addiction, right? And anxiety and depression, right? And so many things for so many years. And I felt like I didn't have a choice because on some level I didn't, right? I didn't have the resources or the attunement or the support, right? The support to really reclaim this experience of security and safety and expression and also choice, right? And regulation, because regulation just means choice, right? Within kind of the full spectrum. It doesn't mean being this perfect thing and you're always going to be emotionally regulated and like, whatever like patriarchal colonial conditioning that we have of like you're going to be this perfect thing that's like never triggered or you know is always has to be achieving, right? Or like get your shit together and like make $1 million and like you know whatever like the hard you know kind of toxic masculine like. And sometimes we need to like you know all right like time to get up, like time to go to work, like I gotta pay my bills, you know, like we need that part of us. But we've gone so far into the end of the masculine, of the patriarchy, to the point of it being toxic because we lost the expression of the divine feminine. We lost the balance, the harmony of the feminine, of the divine feminine, of the feminine principle of creativity and expression and attunement and presence and emotional regulation, right? And your spirituality and your spiritual gifts, right? And this doesn't mean that you have to be a certain way to be feminine or masculine. Like, just throw all of that out. If something is telling you that you have to be a certain way in order to be loved unconditionally and worthy inherently and inherently successful, you got to throw it out, right? Because it's like, we got to reclaim this divine feminine principle, the experience of the goddess, of the great mother, of this sacred energy of aliveness, of eroticism, right? Of your sexuality, of your creativity, of your sensuality, of relating, right? Of relationships, of connection, right? The female nervous system, it regulates through oxytocin. That new neuroscience has shown us based on real studies on real women's bodies and nervous systems, which is why so many women are walking around hormonally disrupted, because we live in a dopamine-driven society, not an oxytocin-driven society. So we're deprived of oxytocin. And of course, you know, it just reflects the larger lack of the feminine in the structures and systems that we're in. So to tie all of this back, because we've really gone on a tangent, but all of it's relevant on some level. And I know that if I'm sharing this message is because someone needs to hear it, right? These are just things I'm always working with. So, you know, it's good to just name. To tie it all back, right, it's like this breakthrough that you're having. It's like you're waking up to the ways that you have been repressed, to the ways that you haven't felt like you're enough, to the ways that you have maybe inherited patterns of trauma that have kept you stuck in a reality of limitation and scarcity and fear, right? And this shows up not only in your most interpersonal relationships of feeling unworthy, right? Of feeling stuck in patterns of like control or addiction or like, I keep doing this thing even though I know that it's, you know, hurting the other person or like not serving the higher code of this relationship, or of my inherent worth as a human being, but like I can't get out of it, right? It's like those unconscious experiences you're waking up to. And if you want to learn how to work with them, you can come to my classes. But it's like the ways that you're here to heal and reclaim your power, right? Reclaim your power to create. It shows up not only in your relationships, it shows up in your soul work, in the ways that you know that you're here for something bigger. You know that you're not just here to live a lifeless job and like work 9 to 5 and like this is it, like whatever reality that you've been handed, or like the only career option that you've been, open to so far. It's like you're realizing that you have the power to also create, that you have gifts, right? That you have an important message to share, that you have an expression of your unique, authentic aliveness that matters to you, right? That more is possible than you can even conceive in this moment, right? More is possible from you than what I can even say. And it comes from that limitless place of being present and surrendered in spirit, in your own experience, spirit in your own body, right? Spirit as not separate from your primal physiological responses, not separate from the ways that you have inherited patterns of trauma that you're here to heal, that take time, right? That take time to heal. It's not like you come to one class or like you do one training and then you're like, oh, I'm good, like never gonna be triggered ever again, right? Or like totally, released in all of your trauma, which like it's not even really about releasing trauma, although it is, right? It's about relating to the parts of you that have experienced the trauma and also doing practices that support your nervous system in expressing, right? In emoting, right? In cultivating enough safety and attunement and resourcing in your own nervous system so that when your body is ready, because your body is the wisdom keeper, your body is the intelligence keeper, when your body is ready, it will naturally express and release the trauma on its own time. There's no forcing, there's no fixing, there's nothing wrong with you. You are worthy of unconditional love now. You can experience spirit now, even if you're in a pattern of trauma. But the thing about it is you're learning that you can reclaim choice within the full spectrum of your experience. That you can reclaim choice, that you are a powerful creative being who's here to do something different, who's here to pave a different way, who's here to speak your truth, who's here to create the Oracle deck, who's here to make the YouTube video, who's here to start the business, who's here to make the training, who's here to sell the product, who's here to be the generational pattern breaker in your lineage, who's here to create the experience of divine, sacred, unconditional love and union within your own experience with spirit and with all parts of who you are, even the wounded, broken, open-hearted parts who feel ashamed and afraid and terrified and not enough, right? It's like, it's not about getting rid of those parts. It's about reclaiming this experience of unconditional love with those parts, within those parts, and reclaiming this experience of security and safety and protection and boundaries, right? For those parts, for yourself, for the part of you that felt like at one point they didn't have a choice, who felt like at one point they were powerless, who felt like at one point no one was there for them, who felt like at one point they had to meet the needs of everyone around them in order to be safe, worthy, secure, loved, have food on the table, who had to repress their truth in order to get a good grade, who had to orient away from their own inner expression of magic, of truth, of aliveness, of protection, of saying no where something was wrong and you knew that it was wrong, or saying yes when you really wanted something that was like giving you intuitive hits that it was good for you, but you were getting also nudges that you were scared or afraid or like not ready, right? It's like learning in that full spectrum to reclaim this experience of security, of inner safety, of choice within your nervous system, within your body, right? So that you can be the powerful co-creator with spirit, with Krishna, with Radha, the divine feminine, right? With this bigger part of you that is truth, unadulterated presence and truth, this higher mind that receives wisdom from somewhere else. It's not even coming from you, although it is, right? It's like it's coming from within you. This experience of unconditional love is coming from within you, but spirit, it's within you and it's around you. It's in the earth. It's in the wind, it's in the fire, it's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the trees, it's in the plants, and the birds, and the bees, right? It's in everything. You're here to make the song you're here to make. You're here to become the producer that you're here to be. You're here to pave the way. You're here to be that bit. You're here to be that bit. It's like you're breaking through the matrix of fear to realize that you're here to be that bit. I'm here to be that bit. I'm here to be that bit. I'm here to be that bit. You are that. You are that. You already are that. You literally are already what you're wanting to become, but whatever parts of you have forgotten, have experienced trauma, have gotten stuck in time, right? Whatever part of you, your nervous system that can get stuck in time, right? When we experience trauma, it's like you're learning how to heal for real. Like you're learning how to break through this matrix of fear once and for all, and to get the proper support, to get the proper education that's not just like the colonial patriarchal empire telling you got to do things a certain way and this is the only thing that's right. This is the only thing that's true because it's written in the book. Because it's written in the book, because the news said it. Because the news said it, because the president said it, because he said it, she said it, they said it. No, you're here to birth something from within you and your direct experience of the divine. And that, of course, includes education. And yes, let's learn education. I'm not saying education is bad. I'm not trying to say that anything is good or bad, right or wrong. I'm living from my heart, okay? And when you're living from the heart coherence, you recognize that duality has its place. This entire reality is a paradox. I'm a Gemini rising, okay? I live in the paradox, okay? Dark and light, good and bad, right or wrong. It's a spectrum, okay? Things are obviously right or wrong, when there's clear injustice in the world, when there's clear, it's like, you know intuitively, instinctually on some level what is right or wrong. I'm not here to tell you that. And as political as I may get, you don't know me off this video, right? Like you don't know me actually. You know me, but you don't actually know me, okay? Parasocial relationships, look it up. It's like, I don't even remember why I started saying that. You're just breaking through. If you're watching this video, you are breaking through the matrix of fear. You're breaking through the limitation that has been indoctrinated into your neural networks, into your nervous system, the indoctrination of your physical body, your emotional body, your energetic body. You're waking up to the ways that we are conditioned on a daily basis into a paradigm of fear from the larger cultural, structural, systemic systems that want you to be in the frequency of fear, because then you are easily controllable and manipulated. Because when you're in the frequency of fear, then you gotta get the money, and you gotta get the paycheck, and I gotta put the food on the table, and I gotta. I'm not saying don't work. I'm not saying like throw balls to the wall and like go, I don't know. I'm not saying like let yourself go. I'm actually saying the opposite. I'm saying you have so much more potential, and the ways that you experience exhaustion and burnout, right? The ways that you're tired and like, God, I can't do it anymore. Like these are physiological responses that you can work with to free up more of your life force energy so that you have more freedom to create. So that you can free yourself from this paradigm of fear, right? The beloved within, stay free. So that you can free yourself from this paradigm of fear and remember that so much more is possible for you here and now, and you can create it. You can be the co-creator. You will be the co-creator. You are the co-creator, whether you're realizing or not, you're co-creating right now. Even if you've been doing nothing all day and laying on your couch, you're co-creating right now. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful you are. If you forgot, I'm here to remind you a billion times over, because we got to forget and remember again who we really are and how powerful we are, and the sacred life force energy and expression and emotional power that we carry. I just saw 34, and that was my number growing up. 34 was my number growing up when I played soccer and every other sport that I played. I pray this message finds everyone that's meant to find, and I know that it will, because spirit works in that way, and I didn't just come up with this shit. Okay? I'm here to serve the highest code, breaking free, staying free, baby. We all free. Stay free. I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to end the message here. You're breaking through. Whoever you are, you're breaking through this matrix of fear, and you're ready for the next level. You're ready to create something new in the world. You are. Like, you're doing it already, whether you realize it or not. Okay. I'm going to end the message here. Thank you so much for watching and listening if you did. Please subscribe, like the video, leave me a comment. If you literally watched until the end of the video, leave me a rainbow and a sword. Leave me a sword emoji or a rainbow emoji. You can pick, you can choose. I'm a Gemini rising. I'm not going to tell you to choose one or the other. You pick, baby. A sword or a rainbow. Like and subscribe, please. It would support me so much. And if you are curious about coming to class, trauma-informed dance, creative writing, somatic and spiritual practice, for relating, for creating, for living embodied in service to love in the ways that you're here to do so, in your own unique way, your own unique protection, your own unique energetic mastery, your own unique boundaries in relationship, in creativity, in the world. Link in bio, belovedwithin.com. We have class every Sunday, live recorded. You get the full vault of recordings. If you sign up for the Beloved Within membership, it's under the class section. Come to that if you want. Every Sunday, except for one Sunday a month, we're usually off the last week of the month. It's really important for me and for everyone that we take a week off for just like integration and rest and taking a break. I believe in taking a break from literally everything. If you want to book a one-on-one psychic reading, that's available in the one-on-one section. I also offer one-on-one somatic healing sessions, trauma support sessions for somatic healing, cultivating resourcing and attunement and expression and healing trauma in your own body. Those one-on-one sessions, either a psychic reading or a somatic healing session, those are available to view and book on my website. When you book a session, I will email you after to choose your date. I require that we choose the date 2 weeks out. Sometimes, if it just so happens, this doesn't happen often, for there to be an opening the next week, then I'll reach out with options for that, but you'll get to choose, so I'll send you some options. And I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm really excited to start recording these messages, these channel messages from Spirit, and whatever else we're going to dive into here on YouTube, because I'm very excited. So thanks for being here. Sending you all so much love. Bye.